Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Qamariah binti Yunus. My metric number is H20A1713. This is the following table shows the current price of bungalows for given size in Kuala Krai, Kelantan. It has like really many data, so we just take 16 sample and N, which is size sample, equal to 60, and we need to find the number of classes 2K. So n equals 60, we try 2, 6, and it's equal to 64. Hence k equals 6, so the number of classes is 6. So then we need to find class width. So the formula to find class width is maximum entry minus minimum entry divided with number of classes. The maximum number is 320.7. The minimum entry of the data is 202.2 and divided by 6. So the answer we get 19.75 and round up to 20.
My name is Nurhafiz binti Mohd Ali and my metric number is H20A1418. The table shows the current price of the bungalow for a given size in Kuala Krai, Kelantan. The frequency is 6 for the class of 202.2 until 222.1. Frequency is 7 for the class of 302.2 until 322.1. Cumulative frequency for group data. The relative frequency is 0.1 and the cumulative frequency is 6 for the class of 202.2 until 222.1. Relative frequency is 0.12 and the cumulative frequency is 60 for the class of 302.2 until 322.1.
My name is Nurzalina binti Zali and my matrix number is H20A1712. I will present the question number 2, which is the graphical method to represent the data, and our graph is frequency, polygon, and ogive. Before we construct the graph, we need to build a table to represent our data, and what we need in the table is class, midpoint, and frequency. And here I want to show how to get a midpoint. Midpoint is the sum of the lower class limit and upper class limit divided by 2. For example, 182.2 plus 202.1 divided by 2, and we will get the answer is 192.15. This is our graph that represents the data, which is the current price of bungalow for a given size in Kuala Krai. To construct the polygon frequency, we use frequency at the vertical scale or at y-axis and midpoint at x-axis. So from this graph, we can analyze the movement of the current price based on our data that the current price increasing from frequency 6 at midpoint 212.15 increased to frequency 14 at midpoint 232.15, then it decreasing from frequency 12 at midpoint 252.15 to frequency 9 at midpoint 272.15. After that, it is increased, then decrease again. The second graph is ogive. What we need to construct the graph firstly is class, upper boundaries, frequency, and cumulative frequency. Upper boundaries we get from the upper limit plus 0.5, for example 222.1 plus 0.5, then we will get the answer 222.6. And for cumulative frequency is the sum of the frequency for the class and all the previous class. For example 6 plus 14, and we will get the answer 20, and so on. This is our ogive graph, and from ogive we can see that it is a line graph that displays the cumulative frequency at the y-axis and upper class boundary at the x-axis.
I will explain and find the value of measure of center tendency. C is a value that represents the center of a distribution. That was the formula, the solution. Fx is a midpoint multiplied with frequency. For example, 212.15 multiple 6, so we get 1272.9. So we need to put the total of Fx in the formula and divide it with n. N is 13, Fx is 15689 divided by 60, so the answer is 261.48. So the mean current price of bungalows for a given size square feet in Kuala Krai, Kelantan was approximately around 261,000.48. For median can be calculated using the following formula. So step 1, we need to determine location of the median class. So to find median class, we need to use n divided with 2. So n is 60 divided with 2, so we get 30. Is the class model 242.2 to 262.1. So our lower class is 241.7 and class size is 20. So the cumulative frequency before median class is 20 and the frequency of the median class is 12. So we need to calculate the median. We just need to put the answer into the formula. So we get 258.37. About 50% of the current price of bungalows for a given size square feet in Kuala Krai, Kelantan less than Rn 258,000.30, and the other 50% more than Rn 258,000.30. Let's move for the last in center tendency. The mode can be calculated using the following formula. For this step 1, we need to determine location of the model class based on the highest frequency. So if we look here, the highest frequency is 40. So the model class in 40 is 222.2 to 242.1. So the lower class boundary is 2221.7 and class size is 20. So the difference between frequency of model class and the frequency of class before model class is 8. And the difference between frequency of model class and frequency of the class after model class is 2. We need to put the amount into the formula. So we get 237.7. Highest current price of bungalows for a given size square feet in Kuala Krai, Kelantan is RM 237,000.7. Let's move to other
Measure of
presenter.
variation. A measure of variation is some parameters attempt to describe the amount of variation between random variables. Three parameters that are used to quantify the amount of variation in a set of random variables are range, variance, and standard deviations. Then you can see the symbol for parameters from the slides. The range of the data is the difference between maximum and minimum data entries in the sets. The range, maximum data entry minus minimum data entry. The solution for the range is 320.7 minus 202.2 equal 118.5. Therefore, the range of the starting data for the current price of bungalow for a given size square feet in Kuala Krai, Kelantan is 118.5 or RM 118,000.5. Variance and standard deviation can be calculated using the formula that I put in the slide. In the slide, you can see the table of class, frequency or F, midpoints or X square, Fx and Fx square. The solution for sample variance is equal 982.60. The solution for the standard deviation is 982.60 root square equal 31.35. Therefore, the sample variance is about RM 31000.35 and the sample standard deviation is about RM 31000.35.
For the measure of precision, we will find the value of the first quartile, third quartile, and interquartile range. To find the value of the first quartile and the third quartile, the first step is we need to find the location of the first quartile and the third quartile, where we use the formula. For the first quartile, we use n divided by 4, where n capital letter represent our sample. 60 divided by 4, we will get the answer 15. And from the table, 15 is located at the second class, where our class interval is 222.2 until 242.1 at frequency 14 and cumulative frequency 20. Meanwhile, for the third quartile, we use the formula 3n divided by 4, where 3 multiplied with sample 60 divided by 4, we get 45 at the fifth class, and our class interval is 2 at 2.2 until 302.1, where our frequency is 12 and cumulative frequency is 53. The second step is to find the value of first quartile and third quartile using formula, where the first quartile, LQ1, represent the lower class boundaries of first quartile, which is 222.2 minus with 0.5 equal to 221.7 plus 15 minus 6, the cumulative frequency before the first quartile, divided by 14, the frequency, multiply with 20, the class width, equal to 234.56. Meanwhile, for the third quartile, where LQ3 represent the lower class boundaries of the third quartile, where 2 at 2.2 minus with 0.5 equal to 2 at 1.7 plus 45 minus 41, the cumulative frequency before the third quartile, divided by frequency 12 and multiply 20, the class width, equal to 2 at 8.37. Then we can calculate the interquartile range, which is Q3 minus Q1, and we can get the answer is 53.81. After we calculate the measure of center tendency, then we can determine the shape of distribution, which is the value of mean is more than value of median and median more than mode value. Therefore, the shape of distribution is skewed to the right.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurhafiz Ramlan. My matric card number H20A1307. Table 1 show the data that my group found. It has 30 data. The independent variable data in this data is motivation for X, and dependent variable is GPA of Y. So I will tell you guys how to calculate the data. To find the table of X, which is the independent variable, we need add all amount in X axis. The answer will be 178. To find total of Y, which is dependent variable, we need add all amount of Y axis. So the answer will be 85. Then let's move to find X to power of 2. To find of X axis to power of 2 is we should use original data from X, and the last answer will be 1200 for total X to power of 2. For total of Y to power of 2, same like how to find the power of X axis. For example, 3.4 to power of 2 will be 11.56. The answer will be 250.66 for total of Y power of 2. So the last calculation, we need to find X and Y. This should calculate the original of X axis multiply with original data on Y axis. For example, 1 multiply 3.4 Our answer is XY will be 5 to 1.1. So let's move to the next present.
My name is Nurul Natasha binti Sarif. My mentor number is H20A1690. For percent calculations, the amount that I got for X is 178, for Y is 85, for X square root 2 is 1208, for Y square root 2 is 250.66, and for XY is 5 to 1.1. And then we move on with the calculation. This is the formula, the step-by-step that we use. We do the calculation, we'll get 0.88, which is this indicate to a strong associations between variable. As for coefficient of determination, the sample variant of X is 5.237 and the sample standard deviation of X is 2.288. Meanwhile, the sample variation of Y is 0.339 and the sample standard deviation of Y is 0.582. That's all for me.
My matrix numbers H20A1369. First, I want to tell about regression equation, but we must find B1, which is B1 equal RSY per SS equal 0.88 times 0.582 per 2.288 equal 0.224. And the second is we have to find BO, which is Y minus B1 equal 2.83 minus 0.224 times 5.933 equal 1.801. The second is estimate regression equation, which is Y equal B1 plus B1, where BO estimate for BO the intercept, B1 estimate for B1 slope of the line, X is the value of the independent variable, Y is the predicted estimate value of the dependent variable. For regression equation is Y equal 1.501 plus 0.224x. The slope of the lines is 0.224. Each motivation influence of students' performance in examinations. The size of the B1 value and sign of R will always be same. The equation cross the y-axis at 1.501. A motivation is high spirit would reach 1.501.
My name is Nurul Nadia Izzah Shafie, and my number matrix is H20A1685. I will continue this presentation about the last part. It is interpret the regression equation. B0, the meaning is when x equals 0, y equal B0. B1, for every 1 unit increase in x, y will increase. If B1 positive or decrease, if B1 negative, by B1 units. Slope B1 equal 0.224. For each motivation among students, the GPA of result will increase 0.224. Constant B0 equal 1.501. When the number of motivation is 0, that means the GPA of the student performance in examination is 1.501. Estimate Y value. Y equal 1.501 plus 0.224 equal 1.501 plus 0.224, 3.1 equal 2.195. It's around up to 2.20. The estimate motivation of 3.1, the GPA is 2.20. That's all from me.